Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus here in Arlington, Texas. This is the Profit Break. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes, and you're going to be well on your way to improving yourself and your profitability. Now, in today's challenging labor market, what we refer to as soft skills are more critical than ever before. Now, are great leaders born that way, or can leadership even be learned? Is there a difference between leading, coaching, and managing, or are they just interchangeable terms we use today? If they're not the same, how do we know when to use each one? Now, that's a lot to unpack, but thankfully we have just the right person to help. On today's show, we're going to talk to Mr. Jason Brooks. Jason has over 30 years of experience in the restaurant industry with multiple leadership roles with 6 of the top 100 restaurant brands. He's an expert in building teams, leading change, and developing managers into leaders. Now, Jason also just released his first book, Every Leader Needs Followers, 10 Keys to Transform Restaurant Managers to Hospitality Leaders, which is available at Amazon. Jason, pleasure to meet you, and thank you for joining us today.
Oh, I am stoked to be here. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, we are excited to have you join us at Bowl Expo coming up in Denver. You're going to be joining us for the first time. So for our folks joining us today, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Background, my origin story is very similar to many food service workers. Started out washing dishes at a mom and pop seafood restaurant in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Then one day I graduated on to prep and then on to saute, then grill, and then got into management as a bar manager, service manager, general manager, director of operations, and even franchise business consultant. Have definitely seen a lot of great views of a lot of great brands, and I've had the opportunity to see what I like to call the Mona Lisa painted 20 different ways. Some of them are some amazing pieces of art. Some of those are just plain pieces. But both sides has given me some great information, some great experiences to put into this book.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be right at home with our group. You know, you have a unique background that your talk and your focus is going to be around what we call the soft skills, that leading and leadership development. But you have that uniqueness of a food service background. So we're going to really enjoy having you there to lend that to our folks there. Now, specifically, let's dive in a little bit about what you're going to share with us in Denver. Your talk revolves around the 3 different mindsets. So what does that mean for the food service managers and those that are going to be joining you?
Well, as we all know, food service managers, they work in a very high-stressed environment. They have to switch gears multiple times per day, and a lot of times they have to switch mindsets. But when you think about mindsets, the mindset is just a certain way that your mind is telling you what to do. If you close your eyes and just imagine, there's sometimes we hear voices now. Don't take that strangely, but we do hear voices. Some voices tell us what to like, what not to like, who to follow, who to stay clear from, things that we know that we're great at or not so much. And when we think about those mindsets, what if we had the power to control that mindset and use it to our advantage? There are 3 distinct but interchangeable mindsets that, when used appropriately, can help teams better develop their teams, lead through challenges, and make the right choices. That is leading with the right mindset, managing versus leading versus coaching. And that's what we'll be talking through in Denver, of how to use those 3 different styles, a management style versus a leadership style versus a coaching style, to help be more productive with your teams and building powerful relationships in your business.
So, Jason, it really isn't a one-size-fits-all. There are proper methods for proper situations, is what I hear you saying.
That is correct. Now, we can always think of it as, well, whether I'm managing or leading or coaching, shouldn't I get a good outcome? But the goal isn't to get a good outcome. The goal is always to get the best outcome. When you think about managing is taking a group of people and making sure that they're staying within the guardrails to meet a certain point. by a certain time and within a certain budget. Our business is a business. And managing isn't a bad thing. That's something that we do throughout most of our day. Leading is when we tend to run into those fires. When those fires happen, how do we take a group of people, paint a picture so vividly of what the next step should be, and then they follow you on that path and get on that plane to take that flight, even though the plane is being built as it's being flown. But you've painted a picture so vividly that they will get on the plane while it's being built because they can see that destination. Now, coaching is slightly different. Coaching is that mastery of one-on-ones and building that relationship with your team to ensure that they make the right choices, whether you're in the building or not.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about managing for a moment, and managers specifically. Many of folks you work with, I'm sure, are first-time managers, and you've seen a lot and been through a lot of experiences. What are some of the mistakes that you see that these managers make early in their careers?
Oh, it is the most common one, and that's believing that they can do it all by themselves. And they put so much strain and stress on the immediate action versus the building of their foundation to ensure that they have a team. Now, the immediate action of getting things done, it is important, but that only lasts for the moment. Whenever you shift to building the foundation of a team around you to help make sure that you divide your business up into certain segments, almost by creating many general managers throughout your business, helps you to not only focus on the things that you need to focus on as a manager or leader or coach, but it also helps to develop your team to make the right choices, give you less stress, and to create whole team ownership.
Jason, that's a great piece of advice there, and I hope everybody heard that listening today, and I hope they go back and listen to it again, that you can't do it all on your own. You have to, and it's often that where we stumble when we're, well, some even later in the journey, not only early in the journey there. So if you could share some advice based on your experience for those that might be wanting to work in the food service industry or own maybe one day their own business, what tips or advice might you give those folks?
Treat it like a business first, and then like a food service shop or a bowling center second. There's times that we start a business because it sounds cool. Just because that's a good hobby, but it is a business first. And when you make it as a business first, you're more so able to dial into the business fundamentals that needs to be in place for you to, one, make a profit, because we don't do this just to break even, and then two, to create opportunity for those within our community. So definitely treat it as a business first. Second piece is do it. There is no class, there is no session, there is no talk that's going to have you understand what it's like to start your own business unless you just do it. But just know that there's going to be a lot of give and take. It's a lot of you giving of a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, but you're also taking that as well. It takes from you. Now, you also have to give that to your team. That same dedication, that same commitment, that same hard work, and just know that it will pay off, but treat it as a business first, and then as your shop second or center second, and then make sure that you're fully prepared to give a lot, take a lot, and then pass that on to your team.
Good. Sound advice here, Jason. Thank you. So let's jump in and talk a little bit about your book. Congratulations on your first book there. Tell us a little bit about the book.
The book is written for the food service industry, and what I mean by that is that it helps to solve three problems. So one of the problems in the food service industry is that most managers run from the industry. They dabble in it some, and then they're like, I'm out of here. This is not for me, until one day their best friend or their spouse says, honey, why do you keep running from this? You are good at it. And the reason why most do is because most managers feel like they aren't authentic. So this book helps those managers that are struggling with being authentic and successful. And it helps them understand how they can create a system to where they can still be themselves, but get the most from their business and not feel stressed. Second thing that it solves is time management. Most food service workers have less time that's on their hands because that's how our industry is built. So it helps you to create ways for better time allotment, not just time management. It helps for you to push items out that you shouldn't be focused on and push it onto your support system or your internal team so that you can focus on the things that is the most important. The last thing that it solves is the managing, leading, and coaching mindset, how to wear the right hat at the right time. And lastly, the book is built to be a very short read. Each key has 3 sections. It has the main course, unintended, the takeaway. The takeaway is a very short 3 to 5 paragraph segment at the end of each key that helps you to drill in on what are the most important pieces from this key, or a reference point to go back and give you a quick reminder on the tips and tricks that you can be focused on. The last section is called the angle. The angle are pieces and quotes of people that I've had the honor of working with, or famous quotes that are out there that are keyed into that topic that helps give you a different angle for that key.
Well, you hit a chord with us, Jason, here at the university. One of your tips in the book when I was previewing it is you talk about never stop training. And certainly that brought a tear to our eye, as we focus on training, especially small business owners that don't have the benefit of a franchise model or a corporate structure. So why, for you, did it make that top 10, even for small businesses, and when you talk about never stop training?
Now, I love my marketing team, but there are times that we will always allot every dollar spent, that 3 cents, 5 cents, 6 cents, 2 cents goes to marketing every single week or every single month. But when it comes down to training, there's times that we think that it's only allotted for the first 7 days or 14 days that someone is coming on board our team. Whenever we look at training, we have to look at training very differently. It's done, and it started even during the interview process. You are setting the seeds and creating that environment of what that new hire is to expect coming into your business, all the way through to the last day. And when I say through to the last day, I mean even when they give you a 2-week notice. And this is where it gets to be controversial. Even when someone gives you a 2-week notice, you are focusing and shifting your training with that person, even if they've been with you for the past 5 years, of how they're going to enter their next job role. What's the best way for them to onboard going on to their next business? What are some of the key things that they learned whenever they were under your wing? Whenever you do this, not only do you truly create that leadership mindset within yourself and within that individual, but your team around you sees the value that you bring to your team and to their lives, not just because they work for you, but because you are a true leader.
Well, Jason, you're preaching to the choir here, and we just yelled out a big amen there, man. That was good stuff there on that. So, hey, before we let you go, I'm going to sneak in one more here for you here. One of the things I was interested, I was reading your book, is that you made the decision to self-publish. So I was curious as to why that decision.
Just like our industry, I want to be nimble when it comes to this book. I want to be able to put this book into different formats, into different areas without having to ask for permission from a publisher. I want to be able to meet food service workers, managers, multi-unit managers where they are. So having that ability to be able to self-publish and put it where it's needed was very important.
Good stuff. Well, Jason, I know the book's going to be a success. We are looking forward to having you with us at Bowl Expo. Folks, you can pick up the book at Amazon, and we'll have some on site. So, Jason, look forward to having you with us.
Thank you, Bart.
Great. Well, hey, folks, if you're ready to learn more about managing versus leading versus coaching, make sure you join us in Denver, as Jason will be presenting on July 3rd as part of this year's Bowl Expo. You are not going to want to miss it. He is going to be great. Now, if you're ready to start improving your profitability, you can reach us anytime at education@bpa.com. So as we wrap up another edition of The Profit Break, remember, when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business every time. This episode, as well as all our previous episodes, are available 24/7 for your team at bowlinuniversity.net. Plus, we have new episodes available every month. Mark your calendar, watch your email, join us on Facebook to hear about all the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.